Hello and welcome to Manifesting Marvel, a podcast dedicated to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm your co-host Jacob,
And I'm your co-host Raga.
and today we are discussing the new Hawkeye trailer and What If Episode 6, What If Killmonger Rescued Tony Stark. So, like we do with all these episodes, I've got to kick it off. That Hawkeye trailer was awesome.
I agree with you 100%. I think it's just like we should start putting the Christmas light on now
Yeah,
because it's officially started.
yeah,
I
no,
feel like for all the Marvel fans,
mm,
the Christmas actually officially started now.
yeah, I agree with you. And I think the only other Christmas film in Marvel is Iron Man 3. So it's quite nice that we're getting like a little bit more return to
Yeah,
Christmas. And I know we're also getting Spider-Man No Way Home
yeah,
at Christmas as well. So it'll be fun this year. They're definitely trying to make winter a little bit better after everybody being in 2 lockdowns.
yeah. I think the movie's coming out, Spider-Man, and also the episode's coming out. But I think it's only the Iron Man was based around the Christmas period, I
Yeah.
believe, and then we're getting Hawkeye, and then next year I think we're gonna get Guardian of the Galaxy Christmas special,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
which I'm looking forward to it because I think if it's going to be every Christmas, that's a movie going to come out based around Christmas. I think
Mm.
it would be really good kind of holiday period for everyone to kind of enjoy and watch. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The trailer, the music trailer, and the scenes on the music in the trailer, all awesome.
Yeah,
Like
no,
really enjoy that.
I'd agree with you, and I really liked the like the bullseye effect that they had on the Marvel Studios logo. I like it when they
Yeah,
adapt that to the character, and I thought that one was really cool. I think Haley Steinfeld's going to be insane. She
yeah,
played like a really cool like adaptation of the character, and I really like where Marvel seems to be going with kind of like the passing of the torch of all the Avengers to like these
young
new
Marvels.
characters.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
young Avengers, is it?
yeah,
Yeah,
that makes me excited. It's interesting because I was under the impression that it was going to be like his daughter, but it looks like it's not. It's someone that's just a really good archer and kind of idolizes him a little bit. That's going to be
yeah,
cool. And then I've heard rumors as well that we're going to get the Kingpin from Daredevil as one of
yeah.
the villains in it, which would be really cool if that happened too. But no, I
I think
wonder.
they should bring all the Netflix characters slowly into the universe because I
Yeah.
think we're gonna need them for a better show.
Yeah, and I think to be honest with you, if you were going to do it with a character, it would actually be really cool to do it with the Hawkeye character because
Yeah,
it suits the whole like mob fighting kind of thing. But one thing I was going to say, do you think we'll get any cameos in this series that we've obviously not seen in the trailer but will show up? Because with all the other ones, we've had some other characters being it and stuff. Or do you think it's going to be like predominantly just around these two characters and they'll just be references?
I think there will be references, but I'm hoping we will get some characters cameos that we're gonna see, because I feel like there's a scene where I pause it, like a auction place, like a wall getting knocked out, something coming through. I feel like that could be War Machine coming through.
Yeah.
But you never know, like which character is going to be turning up because Hawkeye is more of a not a superhero, it's just a hero with the exceptional skills.
Yeah.
So I feel like Rhodey would fit into that kind of group of people to be
Yeah.
around him. Um, you know, so yeah, it will be interesting to see who's going to pop up on these series. But again, the timeline of this, because I think I saw it on someone Reddit or somewhere, like they put it. This is the second incident, that second series to be placed next to WandaVision. So Avengers Endgame, WandaVision, and Hawkeye in Christmas. It happens before the Captain America new
Okay.
ones popping up, and it happens before the Loki series and Spider-Man movie and all that. So it'll be very interesting to see
Mm.
where this kind of sit, because they're still talking about the new Rogers, like that. they're still talking about the old Rogers and then talking about the
Yeah,
Captain
yeah,
America,
yeah.
everything in the trailer. So it'd be interesting to see which timeline, but they reckon it's just the first Christmas just after the end game.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that. No, that's interesting. I think as a trailer goes as well, it was quite short. It was a nice little teaser. They didn't
yeah,
show off too much. I'm excited to see what they kind of bring out for it in the future. It'll be
yeah,
interesting to see like where it goes. But we also got a what if mid-season like sneak peek thing as well, which we
yeah,
could probably mention, which is very interesting. There's some little bits that caught my eye. I think they caught your eye too. So we had a Peggy in kind of a Winter Soldier
yeah,
dark version of the suit for Captain Britain or Captain Carter. I can't remember which one they're calling her.
yeah. Captain Britain. Yeah,
And then we also saw a like Dark Doctor Strange or Supreme Doctor Strange with the Thor, and we haven't had the Thor episode yet. And we got a bit of Gamora in the background too, so
yeah.
that's interesting.
And there was like if you ever wondering, like, want to go back to the trailer, go back to the standpoint 22
There
seconds
you go.
of that trailer, and you could see Gamora, Black Widow, I think yeah, Captain Britain, um, and then Thor and Star Lord.
Mm,
Quite weird team up compared to, like, we haven't seen a couple of them working together yet
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
at this point. So I like to see what's going to happen. And also Thor mentioning zombies, and then we just had the zombie episode, and there Doctor Strange was in it, but not the Doctor Strange that he was talking to.
Mm,
And also Thor has not been in the series yet.
yeah. And
Uh,
we haven't had the episode with Ultron or Black Widow.
yeah, so I think we were talking earlier, how many episodes is going to be. I think it's going to be another 4 episodes. We
Yeah.
kind of looking at it, so it's going to be 10 episodes in total, and so it'll be really good to see what they're going to bring out and how this is going to play out. But I've got to say one thing with this What If series, like, the Watcher is getting closer and closer,
Yeah.
and there's more things that we're seeing from the Watcher. I'm not sure, is that some sort of something going to happen, or but he's getting very closer. We can see more detail of this person
Mm.
and more like actions are coming from the Watchers. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that, but very interesting.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. It's kind of started happening since the Doctor Strange episode. He's kind of got a little bit
Hmm.
more involved every bit. But yeah, it's interesting, and we should probably move into this week's episode of What If. So, what if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark? So interesting. It's the one that we saw. I think it was one of the first ones to be revealed in the trailers back at the beginning, and it's kind of like
Hmm.
you reimagined Iron Man's 2008 scenes, but instead of him being captured by the Ten Rings and becoming Iron Man and breaking out of the cage and the cave and doing all that stuff, Killmonger saves him, which is a really interesting take. It's also a little bit of a nod to when Killmonger said in the Black Panther film that he
Yeah,
was in Afghanistan and he did some training with the Navy SEALs and stuff. So it kind of puts two and two together.
yeah,
And it was nice as well for us to kind of get another Tony Stark MCU highlight reel, even if it was in cartoon form.
yeah,
The one thing I will say for it is they love pulling at our heartstrings. How many times do you think they want to show us that and be like, it's not coming back? Here's Iron Man dying again.
yeah. I mean, that is the third time in the whole What If
Yeah,
series. Just he getting killed
yeah,
or he's just zombified.
yeah,
But yeah, it's very interesting to see, like, the universe does not really help Iron Man with his life because he's like, anyway, like, he actually find himself dead.
yeah,
So quite interesting universe that we have. Like, I would like the character to see where he actually lived till, like, old Iron Man, like he lived through his days. I like to see that storyline as well
mm,
because at this point I feel like if you pick the character like the Iron Man to guard you for life, I don't think he's good. I think he's going to disappoint you. So
yeah. No, I
Yeah, not going to pick Iron Man anymore on those Instagram stories when they come up, like
yeah
which hero to save you,
yeah.
which hero to
Which
fight you.
what team are you building with $20?
Yeah,
But yeah, and then it has an interesting little outcome because I did like this part of the episode because I'm not gonna lie, listeners and viewers on YouTube, this isn't my favorite. I'm not gonna tell you where it comes in my list yet because we do that at the end. But as all of the episodes go, I felt that this one was just lacking something a little bit. It wasn't either. It should have been more towards the start of What If, or it needed a little bit more in its story for this episode. But one thing I did like about it was how something as simple as this, with Killmonger rescuing Tony Stark, kind of changes the whole MCU because Iron Man isn't created.
yeah.
He doesn't he has no need for Jarvis to become Vision, so Vision's not going to get with Wonder, and Wonder's not going to have a breakdown and cause the multiverse, and Iron
And
Man's not going to
Robert,
go back in time and snap everybody out, and they're not going to be here to defend Earth when Thanos comes for the Infinity Stones, regardless for when he comes. There's going to be no one to do the Battle of New York and all of these things. It's pretty crazy. So, like,
yeah,
it's nuts that like one little thing can change all of that. I did appreciate that, and I liked how the Watcher explained it. But for me, I just felt that this was kind of like a mixture of 2008 Iron Man and
mm.
the Black Panther film. And it was just a little bit too similar for me. It didn't seem to kind of be like too much of a vast new reality, as they say at the beginning of the episodes.
I think yeah, it kind of it should have been in the very first episode, just to kick things slowly, kind of moving into the space. Because I'm at the point where I'm expecting something new, something very unique, and something that would get me excited. Like this storyline did not, because most of the stuff that we've seen it before, the way of Killmonger play two sides, and the way of like Iron Man being, being rescued or coming back and what would happen, because it's very predictable.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't have Jarvis. So yeah, for me, it's it's quite nice to imagine like what would happen if Iron Man didn't actually become Iron Man, and then what's the storyline, and this storyline with Killmonger and Wakanda and what he was trying to do, it was a bit predictable, like.
Mm.
And so for me, it wasn't a great episode, but I quite like to see like the few Easter eggs and stuff like that they put in. Quite nice to kind of refresh my mind with it. For example, like they had a little sequence of Iron Man snapping the finger, like which is quite nice to see in a cartoon version of it, and it looks
Yeah.
really great on it. Then I think there's Happy on like all the characters of the Iron Man is like turning up throughout the series. Like, I think Killmonger kind of steal Happy's promotion to be a head of security, which is quite
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there was the other character. What's the name? The reporter.
Christine Everhart.
Yeah,
Yeah. 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 Because she's in Iron Man 1, isn't she? And then Iron Man 2 reporting on the
yeah,
TV and stuff. Yeah, that was cool. And as well, another thing, you see the Ten Rings logo again. I know that was obviously in Iron Man,
yeah,
like the original, but interesting that that happens to be dropping the same time that Shang-Chi's kind of dropping around, and the Ten Rings are being referenced a lot at the moment. Marvel like to drop little things here and there, which I thought was cool. But yeah, it was weird, wasn't it? Because you see Killmonger kind of take Happy's job, then you see Killmonger take Pepper's job, and then you see Killmonger kind of dob the Ironmonger in, and then he doesn't get to have that
yeah,
whole battle scene, and then Tony Stark kind of starts creating these machines, doesn't he, for
yeah,
Killmonger? And that's interesting because obviously we know Michael B. Jordan, the actor, loves anime, and it's cool to see these robots be designed in like a Gundam kind of style.
yeah. And he even says it like, "I love anime," which is like quite nice.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
kind of pinpointed that because they were looking for that kind of style with that one. with the fight scene, I think a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's not. But it would be interesting to see, like, if they do more of Killmonger in a more of an anime style
Mm.
kind of thing. But yeah, it was really cool.
It was cool, and then we got to see one of the little dummy cameos, which is like the Iron Man arms. They
Yeah,
showed up, and they're always really cool. I would love to have one of those. I want one of those.
yeah,
I'd love to have one of those. But Paul Bettany's back again to do the voice of Jarvis. I bet you when he first started doing the voice of Jarvis, he had no idea he'd be doing this many voices and the
yeah. I know.
switch
He
acting.
he even gave an interview about this because he was failing as an actor. He wasn't getting enough job, and
Mm,
he just had this voiceover, and he did that for a couple of Iron Man movies, and then all next thing you know, that he's being casted at the Vision, which is
yeah.
great because they could still use his voice and could have found someone else to do it, but they, because you don't really need to be, they just need the voice. But
Yeah.
I'm glad they actually cast him and gave him the opportunity because
Mm,
he's really good at it, and I can't imagine the Vision without different
yeah.
people acting on it. So very interesting
No, I agree with you.
story.
And it's cool as well that they hired his actual real life wife to be the voice for Friday as well.
Yeah,
Which is cool. That must be fun if you're in that household and both of them have like the AIs from the MCU. But we got to see Killmonger do like the Iron Man test video as well from the first one, where he's
yeah.
kind of like testing all the machinery and stuff. And Tony makes a joke, doesn't he, about the arc reactor
Half
as an
reactor,
idea, and
yeah.
it's like, oh, in another universe that totally works out. But it was cool. I was surprised actually. One thing I will say about this episode, because I might have come across at the beginning that I was bashing it. I'm certainly not. One thing that was pretty decent about it was the time scale. I liked how we went all the way from Iron Man up to like Age of Ultron, where they were in Wakanda buying
Yeah.
vibranium from Louis Claw or whatever his name was, because that was cool to see that play out in a different way, with the Avengers obviously not being there and the twins not being there and Ultron not being there.
I feel like they fast forwarded because I think he's still operating around the same area,
Mm,
but instead of is when it was taking place in Ultron, it was just happening just in Iron Man 1, basically,
yeah,
like
yeah,
around
yeah.
the same time. Because I think he still be doing the same job.
Yeah, well, they mention that, don't they? That Tony
Yeah,
was doing like black market deals before
yeah,
this kind of stuff, so he already knew who he was, kind of thing. So, yeah, it's cool though. It was cool to like re-see that scene lived, and then obviously the kind of shock moment where Killmonger kills Black Panther
yeah,
again, and well, not again, but like it's weird to see like T'Challa kind of come back again playing Black Panther in that role, but then die and be in the spiritual world and talk back to Killmonger again. Like it's very heartstringy, very pulling on all of my emotions. But
yeah.
it
I
was
think it's quite,
yeah, it was nice
yeah,
to
quite.
see.
Wasn't expecting that, but the only plot line in that annoys me is how did Black Panther knew clothes there, but why he didn't go after him before?
Yeah, true.
That's the questions that I was wondering. Like, how did he find out? Like, Anna Killmonger is going there. I know, like, U.S. Army is going to get this vibranium, but how did he found, like, the Wakandans find out that Chloe's got the vibranium and they're there? Like, it's quite interesting. So whether they spying on the U.S. government,
Yeah,
so they were tapping into the U.S. government details and figuring out, oh, by the way, they're after Chloe, so we could go and get him. So it
yeah,
would be
true,
really interesting to see.
true. I think another thing as well to mention is if I thought the whole point about the I thought the whole point about the what's it called? What's his name? The Black Panther like lineages, they could all talk to each other even after they'd passed. You know what I mean? They can like
Yeah,
do the thing. So how did no one communicate with T'Challa's dad that it was Killmonger who had killed him? How did T'Challa's dad, the King of Wakanda, who had been a previous Black Panther, not known or been able to commune with the dead when the whole point of their culture is talking to the dead, to know that it was his son that was murdered, to give Killmonger the Black Panther role. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I thought that was a little bit weird too.
maybe he knew about it, and maybe T'Challa didn't want to mention to their father. But I would say he would have done something because he's gonna ruin the Wakandans, like the whole Wakanda,
Mm,
and then the world. Like he wasn't gonna settle down for just that area. He's gonna try to take over the world. So I think he would have mentioned to him at some point. Um, but I feel like in that universe, it's a lot of things already happen because
yeah,
I feel like when you could only take the mantle as a Black Panther after like someone passed away. You could be in the suit, you could do all your stuff, but once you take the I think it was that flower, like
yeah,
you drink the flower and then you go into the um what's the place, the dream place, what do they call it?
yeah. I don't know what it's
Um,
called, but it's like the
yeah,
plane, isn't it?
yeah, something like playing. Like you go there and meet your ancestors, and then you have a chat about what you want to do, and then you kind of go back. So I don't think Thatcher actually had that yet because his dad is still alive.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, because it would have all been different, wouldn't it? But
Yeah,
saying that,
so
he was in the Black Panther suit.
yeah, I think Thatcher are always in the Black Panther suit because remember, like in the Civil War as well,
Yeah.
when he was chasing after Bucky, he was in the suit,
But wasn't that
but then
hang on, no, we might have just noticed another problem here because
yeah,
he only gets in that suit because his dad dies, because he gets given it. Because he's sitting there, if you remember, after the bombs exploded, and Black Widow walks over and she goes, T'Challa, I'm so sorry. And he's like, in my culture, death is not the end. And then he like gets up and says, and just walks off, doesn't she? And she's like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, vengeance or something like that. I can't remember what he says. It's not vengeance because that's
yeah,
Batman. But then he puts the suit on and goes and messes them up, right? So because his dad has died, because his dad was the current Black Panther, but in this
I
universe,
think
his dad
yeah,
hasn't died, so he has no reason to be the Black Panther. So why is he wearing the suit in the Age of
would be
Ultron?
interesting.
In the Age of Ultron bit, because he
Yeah,
wouldn't have gone through the ritual because his
yeah,
dad hadn't have died, so he would have just been a normal dude in the suit, which might have explained why Killmonger could
I
have
think
so
he was a
easily
normal
killed him.
dude in the suit
But still,
because
either way, you wouldn't send a normal dude in a suit to go get all that vibranium if you had a Black Panther. You'd just send the Black Panther.
yeah, but his dad is old. I don't think he was actually being a Black Panther.
Yeah, but old Black Panther versus young normal man. I choose the old Black Panther.
Yeah, I would as well, but it was interesting to see
Yeah,
like
true.
why that didn't happen because I feel like T'Challa was just a normal one because he haven't actually had a ritual yet.
Mm,
And then when he died, his dad can't do the ritual because he already done the ritual. So they're looking for another person to take over. And then the time Killmonger arrives, so they
mm,
give it to him. So only the Killmonger get to speak with T'Challa. That's why he can't tell anybody, by the way, he's the killer. Like
yeah,
he's gonna fuck things up because if someone else goes in there, they would have told T'Challa would be able to tell him, by the way, Killmonger was behind everything.
yeah. Well, Iron Man finds out because he uses that
Yeah,
holographic kind of scanning thing that he did in Iron Man 3. And that bit's pretty interesting because he's got his little bracelet on like he did in the Avengers against
yeah,
Loki. And I thought that was kind of cool where he like shuts all the windows down and he's like, we're going to get justice and you're going to fight my robot. And as soon as I watched that, I was like, oh no, he's going to die again.
yeah,
He's going to die again. Something's going to go wrong here. The fact that he's not in the suit is going to be his downfall. And then you start seeing it go wrong, and then Killmonger throws the spear, and it goes to him, and you're like, "Oh man, they're killing Iron Man again." And it
yeah,
sucked this time because this was an Iron Man that had no powers, hadn't made anything to protect himself. Well, I know he had the robot, but like it was the first prototype. Do you know what I mean? It was like he wasn't in hero mode like we'd seen him in all the other
yeah.
times. He was more like civilian that just had a lot of money, and that was really really like kind of brutal to watch, but it was cool how Killmonger carried Claw into Wakanda again, like he did in Black
Yeah.
Panther. It was cool how like some things kind of aligned. But I think that's probably why I didn't enjoy this episode, was that because of the
Everything we've
similarities.
seen it before.
Yeah, I wanted it to be different because we saw the sunset again. We saw that scene again. We saw like Killmonger have a gold Black Panther suit again. And
Yeah.
even though that was at the end, and it was interesting, but it was cool how it ended, because like me and you were talking at the start with how in the mid like season peak thing, how we've had all of this kind of like Guardians of the Multiverse stuff being
Yeah.
shown to us. I wonder if Killmonger's going to be a part of it, because they've kind of set him up to be like the Lord of Earth in this universe. He's just about to
Yeah.
take over Wakanda and attack the entire planet with his robots on his side. He's like the MCU Palpatine.
Yeah, it could be. Like, I mean, it would be very interesting to see what is he kind of going to change his mind after he's seeing all the destruction he's caused, and or the android is going to be the birth of the Ultron in that era.
Yeah, it'd be funny if they just make like a little sub series of him being triggered by people that come to Earth to try and oppress him. So like Loki shows up and it's like, you were made to be ruled, and he's just standing there with his AR-15 and he loads it and he's like, we ain't being oppressed. And then it's like
Yeah.
another episode and Thanos shows up and he's like, where are the Infinity Stones? He's like, you ain't telling us shit. It just
Yeah,
keeps
it'll be very
spacing on.
interesting to see.
Yeah.
But I like to see the storyline where Tony Stark is already working on an AI to create these drones or robots into very independent.
Yeah.
And when he died, Jarvis kind of finishes it, and Jarvis and the AI become Ultron, and then messes up Killmonger, and Killmonger has to be the new savior to save the world from the AI attack.
Yeah.
That would be a really quite good story to see as well. But overall, like, what is your thoughts on the episode? Like, you reckon after we talked through all that, did it make any?
It made it better after talking about it.
Yeah.
It had a bit more to it, because like I said at the start, like for me, my favorite one is still the zombies. I think that episode was great. I also very much enjoyed the Doctor Strange one. So for my order, where I'm going to put them is zombies first, Doctor Strange second. What if all of the Avengers died? No, Black Panther T'Challa third. What if all the Avengers died fourth? Captain Carter fifth, and then this one sixth.
Okay. Yeah, it's nothing much change on it.
Yeah.
This is definitely my sixth.
Yeah.
Like, I would go, I think zombies first, T'Challa being Mustalo second, Doctor Strange third, World Lost Mightiest Heroes is the fourth one, and Captain Carter and Iron Man. What if Killmonger rescues Iron Man?
Yeah. Okay.
Because I don't see it doesn't sit still. I wanted a bit more different story. I didn't expect this to be that same generic stuff that we've seen before in various of maybe 3 or 4 movies together.
No, I can see that, and that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in this week to the podcast. We appreciate everybody that listens and watches. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like this video and let us know down in the comment section below if we have forgotten anything. And yeah, you can follow us on social media at Manifest Marvel. And if you want to follow me, it's at Jacob E. Carson. And if you want to follow Raga, it's
AJ Vendra 93.
There we go.
We put that in our YouTube as well, so you could pick that up.
Yeah, we'll drop them down in the description. And yeah, guys, we're thinking about doing some extra fancy content around the Eternals in the coming weeks. So look out for that. And we will catch you next week for episode 7 of What If.